Joe Gosinski, a man with a passion. His love and talent for the classic Mustang brought him success and celebrity. But just before Christmas, he was brutally bludgeoned and shot dead in his shop.
The only questions I have is why? Why would someone do this to Joe? It just doesn't make sense.
That's what a lot of people want to know, including the cops.
There hasn't been a clear suspect that's come into focus for us.
No clear suspects, but Joe's inner circle has clear suspicions. His sister, Michelle Wood, believes this was a crime of passion and thinks the cops should have focused their investigation on the person closest to Joe.
I think this could have been solved by now if they would have done a lot more in the beginning. And looking at the one person that maybe they didn't look at hard enough.
Who was that one person, in her opinion?
The answer's with her, I know it is.
And it's not just Joe's sister. Everyone close to Joe points the finger in the same direction.
It's Rachel.
Rachel.
That Rachel is Rachel Galera, Joe's live-in girlfriend. She is the one who found Joe dead on the concrete floor of his auto shop. Rachel Galera has never been charged in connection with Joe's death or even officially named a person of interest. And if cops suspect her, they're not sane.
Rachel Galera, I wouldn't say she was ever considered as a suspect in the case, but whenever you have a crime of this nature and there's no immediate suspect that comes forward, we always look at the people that are close to the victim. She was cooperative with our investigation.
Cooperative, yes, at least at first, but police say Rachel refused to take a lie detector test.
We asked Ms. Galera specifically to if she would submit to a polygraph examination so that we could completely rule her out as having no knowledge of what took place. And she was initially reluctant to take the polygraph, but ultimately she agreed to do it. And then when it came time for that day for it to happen, she ended up backing out.
We had a similar experience. Crime Watch Daily contacted Rachel for an interview. She first said no, then accepted, but in the end, she backed out. In an interview with the Torrance newspaper, The Daily Breeze, Rachel denied having anything to do with Joe's killing. She suggested his straightforward attitude may have led to his murder, saying, quote, "Sometimes if he had an employee and they were acting stupid, he would yell at them and call them stupid. He would really put you down. He had an anger thing." But friends and family tell us Rachel's relationship with Joe was also very volatile.
Joe and Rachel, a very complex relationship.
For a little girl, she was pretty aggressive. The way she would speak to Joe and treat him, you're thinking, wow, this girl's got some issues, that's for sure.
She was violent. She had attacked him this one particular time I was talking to him. They had been arguing. He had given up. He went to bed. And I guess she came running into the bedroom. You know, his bed was right in the door, and she jumped on his back and just started smacking him.
And friend and former employee Renee Barber tells us Joe was concerned and shared some texts with him.
Text messages were from Rachel. They were very repetitive. They were just one after the other. You know, F you, F you, F you. And it was almost psychotic to the point. That's the way I would put it.
But if things were so bad, why did Joe stay?
I knew that he was with her because of her child. He felt the need to make sure this child was okay. That's the way he was with kids. They were important to him. And he said if it wasn't for the daughter, he would have left her a long time ago.
Those closest to Joe say he had finally reached the end of his rope.
He was to the point where he was gonna leave. He finally realized after so many years, I can't take this no more.
Joe was moving out on January 1st. He was actually moving in with a friend of mine in the Palos Verdes area. And he had told that person that she wouldn't leave, so he was leaving the house because she wouldn't go.
When we went to his apartment finally, we had noticed in his side of the garage, there was a lot of his personal things were down there packed. He had clothes in a backpack. He had a blanket my mom had given him. He had watches, photo albums in his garage, ready to go. Like, he was leaving. It was apparent, and then we found out later that he had already put a deposit down on an apartment.
Police haven't commented on that, but his sister believes Joe moving out was the final straw.
I think in the end, when she knew he was going to leave her, I think she got desperate. And she didn't want him to leave. Why would you want someone to leave who takes care of your child, gives you a place to live? You know, he'd actually thrown her out of his apartment before, and she begged to come back and used her daughter as, you know, where's my kid gonna live? We can't be in the street. So he let her back in.
In our last phone call to Rachel, she told Crime Watch Daily, the only people who really know what's going on in a relationship are the people who are in it. And even Michelle admits Rachel never acted like there was any problem in the relationship.
And when I asked her about it, she denied everything. She said they were gonna get married, they were gonna have a child, he wasn't moving, everything was fine. I don't believe that at all.
Rachel told the Daily Breeze she knows the Gosinski family suspects her, so she has broken off contact with them. She also is upset that police treated her with suspicion. But friends say the way Rachel acted after Joe was killed is very suspicious.
Something that I realized after some time, and then looking back at texts and emails, phone calls, voicemails with Rachel, is that she's never asked who did it. She's never asked. She's never said, I want justice. I hope that we find who did it. What happened to Joe? Why? Her conversations were about material things, possessions. Joe wanted me to have the BMW. Joe wanted my daughter to have the 700 horsepower Shelby Mustang. And if there's anything I know about Joe, is he would not put a little girl in a 700 horsepower Shelby Mustang.
Police haven't ruled out robbery as a motive, and friends tell Crime Watch Daily something from the auto shop was stolen.
The safe was taken.
That's right, he said the safe. Turns out Joe had a little-known private office on the floor above the shop. In it was a standard mini safe where Joe kept his secret stash of cash.
He always wanted to have spare cash because he was the type of person, if he found a good deal on a car or parts or something, he wanted to have money on hand to go buy it.
A manual for the safe was even found and given to the cops. But at this point, police will not confirm the safe even existed. Still, Sergeant Turrentine says cops are following every lead.
We analyzed tons of evidence, but those, unfortunately, we worked everything that we had to a point where we came to a dead end.
After 5 years, the vicious murder of Joe Gosinski is now classified as a cold case. And despite the suspicion of family and friends, police have no official suspects.
This crime will definitely be solved.
I would say to the person that killed Joe Gosinski that the Torrance Police Department is going to be relentless in our pursuit of you.
Let's honor our friend by raising our glasses.
Every year on December 23rd, the anniversary of Joe's death, friends and family gather to salute him over dinner and drinks.
And Joseph, I hope that you're listening to us and knowing that we love you and that we miss you and that we're hoping that we can bring justice to this situation for you.
And for those who loved Joe, his murder will forever cast a tragic shadow on the holiday season.
Christmas isn't a happy time anymore. Joe loved Christmas. He just loved it, and now it's hard. My mom and sister, they don't even decorate for Christmas. It's just really hard. I don't like Christmas anymore.